Okay, here are some instructions about using LibGuides. Hi, you guys. I'm going to switch over to just the web page. So you could always get to it just by going into LibGuides. So I'm going to go from the home page to our research guides. And this page has a hidden tab down here that is for librarians. So I'm going to log in. And then that librarian tab appears. And on that librarian tab, there's a bunch of instruction information, and there's a link to the LibAnswers test page. So we're going to go in there, and you can see the chat box is at the top, and the question form is down below. And then there is the FAQs that we have so far, like information about late fines and overdue books. And we're going to, let's see, log in again to get to the home page. So first of all, we have to go from LibGuides to LibAnswers. So I'm going to change to LibAnswers. And then you get this dashboard that has questions. So you can go down and pick questions to answer. So Betsy and I will be submitting questions during your reference shift, and you can type in a question, start from scratch. You can reuse one of the existing questions. One of the existing FAQs. You can use what's called a macro, so a kind of canned, pre-written answer to a question. So those are three options. Type your own question, use a macro, or use one of the existing FAQs to answer the question. And you can do some other things, copy other people on the question, and then when you're finished, submit it as closed. If you're not quite sure if you're finished, you can submit it as open or pending. So from the dashboard, again, you can scroll down to answer questions. You can also log into live chat. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And once I click on that button, I'm automatically logged in or online to chat. And if there was an existing chat, I could click on it and start to correspond with that person who is chatting with me. So we'll try that out tomorrow also. This opens as a new window. So to close it up, you'll just close the window. And then you can see it automatically signs you out. So it shows that you're offline and no longer available for chat. Some other things you can work on either tomorrow or next week are creating FAQs, macros, and canned messages. So FAQs are up here under Answers. You click on FAQ entries, and you will see the FAQs that we have so far, and you could edit one. And then if you want a new one, you'll go over to this button and create a new FAQ. So a couple things to think about once you start working on FAQs, and we can talk about this more tomorrow and Monday, is just to make sure that they're accessible using the formatting, the headers, and things like that to make the answer accessible. And if you do add images, making sure that you add the alt text to the images. For short, simple answers, none of that will matter, but if you want to do some formatting or add images, just keep in mind to make it accessible. So you can try out creating an FAQ. If it doesn't work, we can always get rid of it. So go ahead and play around with that. And so FAQs to create are up there. You can also create what are called canned messages. And those are for using in the chat. So I created one short canned message here for accessing the library collections from home. But we can create a bunch of them, and they could be available in the whole system, or they could be available for just you personally. And those are short answers that can be used in the chat. And when you go into the chat, you can look for canned messages, and they'll be available. So FAQs, canned messages, and then the last one is over here under admin, and that is macros. Macros are basically also canned messages, but they're for the form, so they can be a little longer. So here again is another one that I created about accessing the library collections from home. And you can see this one is a little longer than the canned message I created in the chat and could be pasted into an answer for a question somebody submitted using the form. And again, you can play around with that, and then those would be available when you're answering questions, those pre-written macros. So when we talk tomorrow, we'll play around with the question form in the chat, and then on your own, if you want to play around with creating FAQs, creating canned messages for the chat, or creating macros, answers for the question form, we can talk about that as well.